Welcome back, true crime enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the terrifying world of one of America's most notorious serial killers, Gary Leon Ridgway, infamously known as the Green River Killer. Join us as we uncover the sinister events that unfolded over 2 decades, the relentless pursuit to stop the reign of terror, and the shocking revelations that emerged. Let's get started. Gary Leon Ridgway's journey from an innocent child to one of America's most notorious serial killers began in Salt Lake, Utah. Born on February 18, 1949, to Thomas and Mary Ridgway, his early life was marked by dark shadows that would shape his twisted path. Growing up in a tumultuous household, Gary was exposed to constant strife between his parents. His mother, a domineering woman, subjected the family to her verbal abuse, leaving deep emotional scars on young Gary and his 2 brothers, Gregory and Thomas Jr. As if the verbal abuse wasn't enough, Gary also faced an alarming issue during his childhood, enuresis, a condition where he involuntarily wet the bed. Mary Ridgway's response to this issue took a disturbing turn. She resorted to washing her teenage son's genitals after each bedwetting incident, an act that left Gary both angered and sexually conflicted. The seeds of violence were sown early in Gary's life. At the tender age of 16, he attempted a chilling act of violence. He targeted a 6-year-old boy, stabbing him in an assassination attempt. Miraculously, the young boy survived, but this horrifying event was a glimpse into the darkness lurking within Gary. Academically, Gary struggled to keep pace with his peers. His poor performance led to being held back twice, deepening his sense of inadequacy. Later diagnosed with dyslexia, he faced additional challenges in his education, setting the stage for a troubled and disturbed adulthood. At the age of 20 in 1969, Gary Ridgway married Claudia Craig and enlisted in the U.S. Navy, where he was eventually deployed to Vietnam. Serving on a supply transport and participating in hostilities, Gary was exposed to the horrors of war, an experience that left a lasting impact on his psyche. In Vietnam, Gary sought solace in the company of prostitutes, engaging in risky behavior by having unprotected sex with them. This reckless behavior resulted in Gary contracting gonorrhea, but even the infection did not deter him from continuing his encounters with prostitutes. Upon returning home from Vietnam, Gary's life took a tumultuous turn. Discovering Claudia's infidelity shattered his emotional stability, pushing him further into a dark and violent abyss. The war had changed him, leaving a volatile mix of rage, lust, and confusion. In 1971, the couple's marriage fell apart, leaving Gary adrift in the sea of his own inner torment. Despite his heartbreak, he decided to explore a newfound path of religious devotion. In 1973, he married Marcia Winslow, and the embrace of religion initially seemed to offer some semblance of solace. Gary became deeply engrossed in religious texts, spending hours reading the Bible and attending church services. He even took up the role of a preacher, delivering sermons that, unbeknownst to the congregation, were steeped in irony and hypocrisy. However, his newfound religiosity did not diminish his darkest desires. The allure of the streets, the haunting memories of Vietnam, and the need to control others fueled the emergence of a sinister alter ego, the Green River Killer. The turning point came in the early 1980s when Gary took his first innocent life. In 1982, he lured and murdered a vulnerable young woman, her life snuffed out by his hands. This first kill ignited an insatiable thirst within him, and soon the streets of Seattle and Tacoma would be stained with the blood of countless women, many of whom were prostitutes or runaways. Gary considered these women to be easy targets, believing their transient lifestyles would make it less likely for their disappearances to be noticed or investigated. With an escalating body count, the Green River Killer struck fear into the hearts of the local community. His chilling modus operandi involved gaining the trust of these unsuspecting victims before mercilessly taking their lives. The bodies were often found near the Green River or concealed in wooded areas, earning him the notorious moniker Green River Killer. Gary's reign of terror reached its peak between 1982 and 1984 when he ruthlessly murdered numerous women, predominantly prostitutes. His insidious acts didn't stop at murder. He engaged in acts of necrophilia, further desecrating the bodies of his victims. To avoid detection, Gary Ridgway displayed a cunning ability to evade the authorities. He cunningly disposed of the bodies, often leaving them in remote locations along the Green River or hidden in dense forest areas, making it challenging for law enforcement to locate the victims. As the mid-1980s dawned, Gary Ridgway's life took an unexpected turn when he met Judith Mawson in 1985. Their relationship blossomed into a stable and seemingly happy marriage. Surprisingly, as he settled into married life, the number of killings decreased. The reasons behind this decline remain a subject of speculation to this day. Some experts believe that the emotional stability provided by Judith may have temporarily quelled his murderous impulses, while others argue that the Green River Killer had merely grown more adept at eluding the authorities. Gary's notoriety did not go unnoticed by law enforcement. As early as 1982 and 1983, he caught the attention of the police, who arrested him for harassment and attempted murder. Astonishingly, he managed to pass a polygraph test in 1984, further complicating the investigation into the series of killings plaguing the region. The urgency to capture the Green River Killer led to the formation of the Green River Group, a task force dedicated solely to unmasking the culprit behind the chilling murders. Seeking insights from another infamous serial killer, Ted Bundy, the investigators hoped to gain valuable knowledge into the mind of a psychopath. Bundy provided them with chilling details, warning them that the killer was likely a necrophile and might revisit the crime scenes to engage in acts of necrophilia. Despite intense scrutiny and years of investigation, it wasn't until 2001 that the crucial breakthrough occurred. Advances in forensic technology allowed DNA testing to connect Gary Ridgway conclusively to the Green River killings. On November 30, 2001, Gary's reign of terror came to a screeching halt as he was arrested, finally identified as the elusive Green River Killer. The impact of this arrest on the community was profound, providing some semblance of closure to the families who had lost their loved ones. The subsequent trial was emotionally charged as Gary Ridgway pleaded guilty to 48 of the murders in 2003. In a dramatic display of remorse, he wept in the courtroom, seeking forgiveness from the families of his victims. His sentencing was a moment of reckoning for the families, and Gary received 48 life terms, ensuring he would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Despite his life sentence, the horrors of Gary Ridgway's actions did not end. In 2010, he delivered yet another gut-wrenching revelation, confessing to an additional murder, bringing the total number of proven victims to 49. These chilling confessions added further weight to his already infamous reputation. Following his sentencing in 2003, Gary was placed in solitary confinement at the Washington State Penitentiary in January 2004. This level of isolation was deemed necessary to ensure the safety of both prison staff and other inmates, given the heinous nature of his crimes. Gary Leon Ridgway's name is forever etched in the annals of America's most notorious serial killers. His dark legacy continues to haunt the collective memory, serving as a haunting reminder of the depths of human depravity. His reign of terror has left an indelible mark on the lives of the victims' families and the communities he terrorized. May the memory of those lost never be forgotten, and may society remain vigilant in preventing such horrors from ever happening again. Thank you for joining our journey today. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Until next time, and stay safe.